to our guests, I want to take a quick second to share something valuable with you. If you're serious about building wealth through real estate but struggling to find profitable investments in Canada, I've got something that will help. I've put together a comprehensive guide to U.S. real estate investing for Canadians, breaking down the best markets, financing strategies, tax considerations, and landlord-friendly states where Canadians are getting better cash flow and long-term appreciation. It's completely free. You can grab your copy at www.truthaboutrelestateinvesting.ca. Just look for it on the right side of the page. Along with the guide, you'll also get our weekly newsletter that goes out to over 10,000 Canadians at no charge since 2010. Yes, I've been sending it for every week since 2010. We send new podcast episodes as they're released, so you never miss out on these expert insights, invites to exclusive in-person and online events with top real estate minds, actionable strategies to help you grow your portfolio and build wealth faster. Again, go to www.truthaboutrelestateinvesting.ca and download your free guide today. Now, please enjoy the show. Another trip around the sun. The worst year of real estate in my experience. It's not all that bad, though. Welcome to the Truth About Real Estate Investing show for Canadians. My name is Erwin Cito, and this is a solo podcast episode. I'd like to thank everyone who took the time out of their busy schedules to wish me a happy birthday. The vast majority of messages came from the real estate investing community. I only have so many friends and family, and then my investor community, it's quite large with our plus 17 listeners, a couple thousand other followers on the different social media platforms. And reading all the comments and seeing the names brought back a lot of fond memories because many of them came from easier times. Very grateful for the friends I've made over the years of my real estate career since 2005. I made lots and lots of friends from like 2008 and beyond. So those were some really good years to make money. So I have lots of friends who've done really well in their careers. So as I mentioned, it's been the worst real estate market experience of my experience. We have a changing real estate landscape for the worse for people like myself who are landlords and realtors. Since the peak of the market, for those who weren't following, the peak of the market was around late 2021, early 2022. Prices have declined from there, while the operating costs of rental properties have continued to rise. And during that same time, interest rates are going up. I personally had too many variable mortgages, same with many. Rent control has squeezed landlord incomes, leaving many of my clients and fellow investors struggling. We real estate investors never signed up to backstop inflation for our customers. Not that anyone's even thanked us for enduring rent control. Some of my clients have endured nightmare tenant situations. Just recently, one tenant is owing one of my clients over $30,000 in rent. They just left the property. Another tenant caused another client of mine $20,000 in damages. This is just recent. And then just last year, one of my clients had a tenant who had terminal health issues. During that time, they were not paying rent, let alone paying utilities, let alone maintain the property in a reasonable condition. Actually, they left the property in a disastrous state that it had to be sold as is, where it is, without electricity. This client of ours unwittingly became a social service provider overnight, and they'll never be landlords again. There's many in the community who don't think anyone should ever become an Ontario landlord. Why buy and hold a move-in ready property, such as my client did, my client Ryan, for a 10-year period, only to experience this kind of grief? Right? They made no money. This is not what my private citizen client signed up for. And now in the areas of Ontario where the majority of cash flow oriented investors invest, like Oshawa, Barrie, Hamilton, Kitchener, prices are well off their peak prices as well. Worse than, say, a detached home in Toronto. Not as bad as condos, though. Duplexes, especially now in Hamilton, where my own properties are, and majority of my clients, our duplexes they're about at least 20% off peak prices, and we're experiencing low showing volume, hence low interest of both tenanted and vacant duplex listings. Market rents are coming down on long-term rentals too, as international students aren't coming to Canada anymore in droves but for most of our university my clients are generally in really good areas for targeting university students, not college. We haven't been a fan of college student rentals for quite some time. So student rental rents, at least in Hamilton and McMaster, have climbed slightly, even over last year's historic increases. Last year we were probably up like 20%. In my own experience, I was finally able to get rent plus utilities on my Hamilton McMaster student rental. Those same tenants in that property have already renewed for the following year. I feel bad for parents and university students as I'm currently reviewing rental rates for upcoming listings of my own that we have near Brock University and Western University in A+ neighborhoods. But the rents are $700 and up per room. So if you know anyone looking for a student rental near Brock University or Western University, please let me know. Student rentals are my favorite local investment strategy for both cash flow and limited landlord-tenant board risk. Also, I can generally get them closer to home. Rent to own, which is a wonderful strategy for being landlord-friendly. Generally, I'm seeing those deals like far, far away from the GTA, like 2 hours and beyond. So again, for my professional opinion, and student rentals do also have the most demand from investor buyers, partly because they cash flow so well, and also because they're a reasonable distance driving from Toronto. Now, overall, this is the most buyer advantage market I've seen. I'd even hazard to call it a buyer's market. Not everything, again, like that generality I often speak in. The more detached you are and the more close you are to Toronto, the less of the most demand is for detached properties in Toronto. The further away you are, there's the demand declines. Now, so this is the most buyer advantage market I've seen since 2008. There's lots of selection for them. Days on market are among the highest I've seen since times like 2008 and early COVID, but with the landlord-tenant board risk and cash flow where it is, which is generally negative for most properties, rents across the country, I mentioned earlier, are declining, and we're not that far off historic highs for both prices and rents. Again, on the historic context, it's not like we're below pre-COVID prices. So overall, housing affordability is still bad. There's more turmoil than ever in the market out there. And overall, on the historic side, again, housing affordability hasn't really been much worse. So no surprise, I've never seen such low local investor buyer interest. As such, realtors and full-time investors have, because there's no transactions happening, way less. There's way less transactions. I just saw a stat this year so far, 2025, has the lowest number of transactions we've seen in at least 10 years. So for people who get paid on transactions, such as realtors, like myself, again, I've seen a lot of people exiting the industry, going back to previous careers, or even looking into businesses that are adjacent to real estate. My own team of investment-focused realtors and coaches has shrunk. We're now just back to the original Tim Hong and I. Tim Hong was the first agent at Rockstar to join me back in 2010, and now it's just back to Tim and I. As we honestly don't, again, there's not much demand for investor services to acquire property locally. So our focus has mainly been, just servicing our existing clients, which is and what our clients generally want to do is they want to sell. No one's really looking to sell or hold. We're not getting much interest in people adding to their local portfolios. And because these are our clients, 99% of our clients are investors. Our clients have tenanted properties to sell. And for those who don't know, tenanted properties take a whole lot more effort. It takes longer, and there's more risk management in our experience, but we love it. We love seeing our clients take profits, take a load off their shoulders, and enjoy themselves with the profits that they take. I'm friends with a lot of our clients, and also social media friends. So I see pictures of them all the time, going on those exotic location traveling. Anyways, it's challenging, but it's incredibly rewarding work. For months, we were taking calls from pre-construction and new construction condo investors, but unless they want to take massive losses, which no one does, and we didn't recommend, in some of these cases, understand, like, these people were staring at a minimum of losing 20% of what they paid, which is their entire investment and more. And if they choose to take on these properties, then they're contractually obligated to eat negative cash flow, essentially. And it could be worse, assuming they don't get a mortgage. Anyways, right now in the market, there's about 6 months of condo supply in downtown Toronto. Again, that's the worst I've ever seen. And that's just what we can see that's on market. That can be tracked easily. On market meaning realtor.ca, MLS. But for anyone who follows this stuff, there's lots of Facebook groups, and I'm sure there's WhatsApp groups for private assignment sales. So these are off market because most builders don't allow assignment sales to be listed on the MLS or realtor.ca. And if you ever join one of these, which I have, there's endless private listings there as well. Pretty much every investor on there is taking a bath. They're giving up their everything they put in, plus some, and even some more additional incentives for someone else to take assignment of their condo. So condos have always gone against my own investment philosophy. It is land that is a hard asset, as it is finite. No one's making more land. Versus condos, there's pretty much always people making more condos. There's plenty of space in the sky to build above land, to build many condos, and there'll be more to come. Hence, it goes against my investment philosophy. Generally, condo investors have no choice right now but to hold, rent it out, absorb that negative cash flow, $1,000 or more every month for each condo, and pray the market recovers in 2 or 3 years. Everyone expects the market to recover. It's just when and if folks can survive. I do feel bad for those new condo investors, and at the same time, I'm very grateful for our strategy of buying on land real estate for value and cash flow. It's worked out because real estate investors should always think about survival. No different than business owners. Think about, can your investment survive a downturn? Now, what smart investors are doing instead? In my nearly 14-year career of coaching clients in real estate, I've never seen challenges like these today. Thankfully, our clients again have fared better than most, as they've been in the market for a really long time. We've been buying all the way I've been working with investment clients since like 2010. So many of our clients have owned property for a long time. They're still positive on their price appreciation. They also renovated smartly under our guidance and in order to optimize cash flow. Nearly all of our clients own houses with basement apartments, or they've bought or converted houses into student rentals, or they own small multifamily properties. Anyone who owns single family, they've bought it years and years and years ago when those could still cash flow. Rents, at the time, each of my clients would get rent as good as they can get. Our clients generally renovate sensibly, and they would get top of market rents. So again, generally our clients can weather this storm better than most investors out there. I won't sugarcoat it though. This has not been an easy year for landlords, realtors, mortgage brokers, variable rate mortgage holders, and even tenants. Again, as I mentioned, affordability is at historic lows. My family and I as well have way too many variable rate mortgages. In hindsight, we should have fixed more of them. There is bad news all over social media. I'll get to it in a second, which Facebook groups I belong to. I have many friends in the community send me dirt on certain furus. Furu is a word mashup of fake guru, and these furus have made national news. These are bad operators brokering shady deals, borrowing through promissory notes. I've seen many accusations of Ponzi schemes, including accusations of Ponzi schemes by the Ontario Securities Commission. For many years, I've seen security code violations, people posting publicly, very obvious security code violations. If that couldn't have been more of a red flag, I don't know what else is. And these same furus are sending legal threats to people for anyone who dares even just repost an article where they're mentioned. I've received several threats myself, and you can guess by who. Now, some of these gurus are still licensed as well to practice in whatever they practice in, realtor, mortgage, whatever, and it absolutely boggles my mind. And that's partly why I created this show, The Truth About Real Estate Investing, because there are lots of shady things that happen that are out there, and that happens in every industry where there's money involved. Now, some of these folks have fled the country already, and white-collar crime generally goes unpunished. So I personally don't expect any justice. Again, this is why I've always been very cautious with how I invest my money and who I invest it with, which is basically nobody. For anyone interested, there is a Facebook group called Exposing Fraud and Failure in Canadian Real Estate. That's the name of the group. One of the administrators, Matt, invited it to me. So you may want to join it. And if you ever need to reference check someone you want to lend money to or partner with, you can go there, search their names. I've posted the link in the show notes. They don't have a vanity URL, so it's a bunch of numbers that no one's going to be able to interpret if I read them out. Again, the link is in the show notes. Now, a transformation, a smarter, more profitable path forward. If you're an investor, you know that mindset's everything. The right strategy and growth mindset separate those who thrive from those who struggle. To quote one of my favorite authors, Brian Tracy, your mind is a garden. You can grow flowers or you can grow weeds. Whichever you water is what will flourish. This quote's a great reminder to be intentional about positive mindset and personal growth. I was not following this very well for many months last year. I've since turned things around. Since about December, I started working to improve my mindset to make it more positive by waking up early. I'm getting up at 5 a.m. now, meditating, journaling, exercising, just light exercise, just to get the heart rate going and just to maintain health, and focus on being my best self for my family and my community, including you, my 17 listeners. If you've read the book, The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod, or any of the other dozen books on personal development that are out there, you'll know what I'm talking about. In my experience, it's quite amazing to see how much you have to say no to in order to be up at 5 a.m. each morning. That means less social media, less bad food, avoiding alcohol, all to protect my energy and ensure a productive, intentional workday. Some nights go to bed before my kids, and it's a bit of a pain. Where and how investors are adjusting. Many investors are making the shift to landlord-friendly strategies like student rentals that I mentioned. There's rent to own, which I'm a big fan of. It's unfortunate that most of those properties are quite far away from where most of you live, or to landlord-friendly places like Alberta and USA markets. You may have noticed I've had several past guests in the last year who are focusing on Alberta and US markets, and they're not from there. And again, this show has always been here to share with you such best practices. We're going to try to guide you every step of the way, the best that we can. In my own business, we've helped nearly 4 dozen clients now acquire or prepare to acquire income properties in the U.S. There are some of the best passive investment deals I've seen for better returns with lower risk, less effort, and more scalability. For the real estate geek like me, this is an absolute dream come true. Again, like I said, it's not all bad. Thanks to technology, AI, and the expansion of institutional-grade property management services, which are only available in business-friendly places like the U.S. I know many out there hate Trump. I'm not a big fan of everything he does either, or the way he talks to people. I think every Canadian is sick of tariffs. I'm sure the majority of Americans are sick of tariffs too. But I cannot find the same investment advantages that I can find in the U.S. Like my off-market deal I've talked about in San Antonio so I did an off-market deal in San Antonio. I also did my McMaster student rental in Hamilton was also done off-market. Now let's compare the two. The upfront renovations, San Antonio property, $12,000 versus $110,000. Converting an old house into a student rental costs a lot of money. Property age, my house in San Antonio is 20 years old versus my McMaster house is 100 years old. Big difference in the building standards of those days. Basement issues, I have none in Texas versus in my Hamilton property, I had mold, I had cockroaches, My contractor literally wouldn't work there until we had a pest control folks go in there, which is funny because they didn't complain about the mold. But the mold was caused by a leak, a consistent leak that was happening. So we actually had so an unbudgeted $10,000 for interior waterproofing had to be done. Tenant management in Texas, I only have one tenant in that property, versus in my McMaster house, I had 7 university students who had never lived on their own before. Tenant utilities, the tenant pays, in a single family home, the tenant always pays, versus in my student rental, the market, this market's inclusive. Well, for the vast majority of the time I held the property, it was inclusive. And that included 1 month where the water bill was $2,000 thanks to a leaky toilet. Financing, cheap mortgages on single family homes, versus I had a B lender on my master property because no bank or credit union would lend to us on this property. We were paying 10%. That was one of the main reasons, other than the maintenance on this property. Between those two things, those are two of the main reasons why we sold that McMaster student rental. 10% interest rate, and it was old and lots of maintenance. Regulations in Texas, there's no rental licensing, versus Hamilton has implemented strict rental licensing. They've banned Airbnb, and to come up to standard for rental licensing, that would cost me a couple $1,000s, and then on top of that, every year would be a couple $100s as well. And thanks to rent control, I can't exactly just pass on those costs to the tenants. Now, if you're frustrated with Ontario landlord laws, like most, many investors are making the shift to landlord-friendly markets and strategies. In my professional opinion, the business-friendly states of the U.S. make the most sense, since my clients receive all the benefits of passive investing, like a REIT, but they pay less fees, keep all the equity and control, unlike any investment I've seen before. And I'm here to guide you every step of the way in how to diversify, de-risk, including how to list investment properties for sale for maximum return, even if tenanted. It's funny, like it is my birthday and I love to work, if you couldn't tell. Anyways, all signs point to rising rents and real estate prices in the US markets. Really, that's here as well, but one place is easier than the other. We've already identified 23 markets in the States for our clients to invest in, and otherwise we wouldn't be there. We're in those markets where you're seeing billions and billions of dollars being invested to create high value paying jobs at a scale more than 10x Canada's, and by also industry leaders. And for those who follow economics, like when incomes are rising, that typically attracts more people, which grows a population. As the populations increase with growing incomes, that drives up the economy, that drives up the prices of rents and housing. And also that way, you also have more tenants that are highly qualified to rent from me. So even if you want to do it yourself, that's totally cool. We've had past guests of the show, like Glenn Sutherland, who is from our Canadian community, but has already transitioned to the US. And you'll hear from more of the folks like Glenn on the show who are do-it-yourselfers. As always, I want everyone to know the truth about do-it-yourself investing, including cross-border. And I'm grateful to have friends who will come on the show and be so transparent. In general, I'm just happy for anyone who continuously improves their investments, their lives, moving towards their financial goals. Final thoughts. Thank you again, my 17 loyal listeners, for giving me this platform to make a difference in our community. If you'd like to get more tactical learning and real education, a great place to do so is our iWIN meeting. We're having our first, it's been a while since we've had a local in-person networking meeting, Saturday, April 26th. We only have about 30 seats. My clients have already had first dibs, so there's very limited in-person seating. It always sells out. No word of a lie. We'll also be broadcasting this over Zoom webinar. So there's lots of seats there. I want to thank our sponsors at Share and Lend City. So lunch is covered for the folks coming in person. We will be covering short-term rentals, but they'll be generally on the Florida side. We'll be talking about student rentals locally, what's working and what's not working in general. We'll be talking about the best landlord-friendly markets for Canadians, both active and passive investing strategies. We're talking about property management in a difficult market. We are technically in a recession right now, and things could get worse. So we're looking to property management and how to protect our cash flow and avoid costly pitfalls. We're going to talk about how to sell tenanted properties for maximum ROI, mortgage market update. My friend Scott from Lend City is coming in, so he'll be giving mortgage market updates on things like CMHC MLI Select, where rates are going. It's an ever-changing market. I know some lenders are tightening up their rules, so you want to know, you want to be abreast about what the options are for ideal and inexpensive mortgages. So the choice is simple. You can keep hoping Ontario changes. I have many clients who are holding, and that's totally cool because most of my clients are instant rentals, at least the ones who are still happy to hold. It's my clients that are in long-term rentals who are looking to sell over the next few years, take profits. And for those looking to acquire, again, most people who contact me are looking for markets where laws protect your investment and cash flows significantly better. So hope to see you there. Details are in the show notes. And they're also in the email that goes out. I send out a weekly newsletter, so make sure you're on that. You can find that at truthaboutrealestateinvesting.ca. On the right side, you can just give your name and email, and then you can be on our weekly newsletter. You'll be invited to events just like the one I just mentioned. And also going forward, we'll probably have a live free webinar once a month on how to invest in real estate. All right. So again, thank you again for everyone for listening to the show. If you could, if it is it's my birthday, but I'm here to serve. But nothing makes me happier than helping more people. So if you ever want to share this episode with other people, share this podcast with other people, tell your friends, bring along friends to our iWIN meeting on Saturday, April 26th. It's just a morning, so it's not a big deal. So if you want to invite your friends to come along with you, or you want to do, you're going to watch from home or via webinar and you want to have a watch party, totally cool. Really, we'd just like to help more people get ahead in life via what I think is the ideal investment strategy, and that's owning rental real estate. All right, so take care, be safe, everyone. Let's make real estate profitable again. All right, friends, that wraps up another episode of the Truth About Real Estate Investing show for Canadians. Hope you got as much out of this one as I did. Remember that whether you're just starting out or a seasoned investor, there's always something new to learn, and it's always about building that practical knowledge base that gets you closer to financial freedom. If you found value today, please do us a favor and leave us a review or a rating, share this episode with a friend, or better yet, join our community of real estate investors who are taking action and making moves. And hey, if there's a topic you want us to cover or have there's a certain guest you'd like us to have on the show, drop me a line. My DMs are open on social media. Reply to this email that this have arrived on. I'm not hard to find. We're all about getting you the unfiltered truth to help you on your journey. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next episode. Until then, stay smart, stay curious, and keep building that future. Catch you later.